Taught me how to survive on methamphetamines, how to eat, how to sleep, how to function, and still appear normal.
Right, so you were not working at the time?
No, I worked on and off occasion, and then towards the end of our relationship I was working full-time, but I was still getting high.
Right. So then tell me about what offense led you to go to prison for the first time?
Well, actually it was like a stepping stone of offenses. We had been busted for sales, possession of sales, maintaining a house for sales. I personally was given, they found a sawed-off shotgun in the house and they put that on me because I had other guns that were legal, but because the sawed-off shotgun was in the house, they put that charge solely on me. And so I ended up with 5 years probation, which I could not, I got high the whole time, and you test for the probation officer, and after 13 dirty tests they put me back in jail in the county. And then I got busted for possession a few times, never, just county time. And then I got busted for having knives, what they considered illegal knives, like a double-edged knife or a butterfly knife. And those, I did time on those in the county jail. And then when I was like 29, I got busted for a double-edged knife. And I went to court, and the judge told me, you either take 2 years in prison, or if you fight this and you lose, I'll give you 5 years. And it's like, what are you going to say to that? I have a choice, 2 years, or 5 years. And it's not some district attorney telling you that, it's the judge telling you that. And so I took the 2 years.
Okay, what prison did you go to?
I went to, I'm not going to remember the name. I went to reception at, I can't remember the name of the reception yard.
Okay, and then how long did you stay in reception?
3 months.
And
3
then
months was in reception.
And then from reception, where did you go?
Avenal State Prison, which is in up north California.
Okay, so what was it like when you got in prison? I mean, was this something that you had imagined? Was it a shock? What was it like your first days in prison?
Well, I was smart, I guess you could say. I listened to older guys and talked to them, guys that had already been, and understood enough about prison how to keep out of trouble. And so when I got there, it's horrible. I mean, yes, you're put there for a reason, but it's still a horrible place to go for anybody. It's not like the media portrays it, but it's pretty animalistic, pretty brutal, I guess you could say, on your senses, on your humanity, on everything.
And so in what ways was it kind of animalistic in terms of your senses and your humanity?
Well, the way the guards treat you, you have to strip down for them and bend over and crack a smile, and and they laugh and they make jokes at you, and they treat you like less than human. And then everybody's angry. The convicts are angry, the guards are angry, everybody's angry, because they're put in this situation. So it's a very volatile place, not just in terms of a lot of violence, but just because everybody's angry all the time.
Right. In the times that I've gone to lecture to inmates, and I've probably lectured to over 500 inmates over the last 2.5 years since I wrote my first book, what is obvious and conspicuous is this type of us versus them attitude that really pervades and permeates the entire prison system. So when you got there, were you forced to choose who to click with, a gang?
Well, in a level 2 prison, which is still pretty low security, you're not, as a white person, you're not forced, you hang out with white people, You eat with white people. You group together with white people. That's what you do because you're white. You don't have to choose a gang. I mean, there are some people that go in there that want a reputation, but not in a level 2 prison.
So then what are the consequences? I know you had alluded to this in our conversation before. The consequences of not being with the whites. You said that you have to basically self-segregate. What are the consequences of not self-segregating?
You could get beat up, for one. Like I believe I told you, we were sitting at a table, and this was I had done a parole violation term, and I was heavily into speed, and I was starving by the time I got to prison. And I was sitting at a table with some black guys, and I had finished my meal, and the one guy said, "Here, do you want some toast?" And I couldn't accept the toast from him because he was black. You don't accept food from black people. You don't smoke after black people. Nothing like that. That's just the rules of prison. You never do that.
But you can play dominoes with them.
But you can play dominoes or cards or stuff like that. But even that's, mostly people segregate into their races, and that's how they hang.
So tell me how this was frustrating to you. You said that the black inmates knew how to do their time.
Yeah, they did. I mean, if any prisoners see this, I'm probably going to get beaten up. But I'm not a racist person, so I never bother to accept that type of culture. And I always hung out with the black guys because they were funny, they laughed, they knew how to make humor. They had been there, they'd have been oppressed, for so long, and some of them had been in and out, that they knew how to do time. Because you see, like, some people in there, they're just, they're freaking out because they're doing time, and they're counting the days until their time out, the time they get out, and that's what's called hard timing it. And you never saw black guys do that. They were always funny and try to entertain themselves, and were good people, good people to hang out with because they told you how it was, and they always treated me very well.
So I want to put you on the spot and ask you about, I already know your feelings about the Latino population inside of prison, but tell me some of the frustrations you had with the Latino population inside the prison.
Well, according to prison rules, it's the whites and the southern Mexicans are together. They back each other up. And the blacks and the northern Mexicans are supposedly together, and they back each other up. And when you go to county jail, you see Mexicans jumping white guys, beating the crap out of them, taking their shoes, treating them like crap. I mean, they're just as racist as anybody. They're just as racist as the most racist white person. And I was in a cell with two cons, and there was a guy in there. He was a young white guy, and the Mexicans wanted his shoes, and he told them no, and so they jumped him, and I started fighting and with him, but because of the rush of all the other white people pressing you up against the bars, it was kind of hard to do anything. And they beat him up, but then the guard came and they pulled him out and he got his shoes back, but he'd still got the snot beat out of him. And I was sitting there with these two, and they were cons. I mean, they had their prison tattoos and all that. And I said, "Why didn't you help? You're white." And they said, well, I don't know if that guy was white. I go, "I rode the bus with that guy. That guy was white." "Oh, well, they didn't want to have, they're all talk tough when there's 20 of them, but when there's just the three of us and that one white guy and 20 Mexicans in a cell, they're not so tough."